Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. For today, I can't believe I am wearing this. This is Ariana Grande Cloud, and I have wanted this for so long. And I just recently got this in a subscription box to review, and I'll actually have the review for 4 different fragrances coming up on my Instagram on Friday, so stay tuned for that. But so far, this is phenomenal. I see what the hype's all about, and I am loving it. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you took a moment and subscribed, and also hit that notification bell so you will never miss anything interesting. And I do also post every single day on Instagram and on Reddit, so if you're a person that likes updated content, be sure to go give me a follow. So guys, here's the palette of the week. And if you already saw my Saturday post, this shouldn't surprise you. I know I'm a little late to the game and this is totally out of season. Oh, and by the way, this is the Natasha Denona Love Palette. This is a Valentine's Day palette. And I am well aware that it's not Valentine's Day, but I just picked this up for an outstanding deal and I just couldn't pass it up. I think I paid $20 for this. I just got this in the mail and I wanted to use it so bad, so here I am. Let me show you what the inside looks like. Here's the inside layout. It's got a lot of pinks, purples, and reds, just a lot of colors that I normally don't play around with. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do a look together using this palette, and then the second part of this video is gonna be an in-depth review about this and my experience with it. So if you're into hearing my thoughts and review on this, then stay tuned to the second part of this video. So without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of this video, which is the tutorial. Okay, so like always, I'm gonna go in with my prep steps. I'm actually gonna skip the moisturization part today because I already have a little bit of makeup on, so I'm gonna get right into my eye primer. And today I'm gonna go in with my Revlon. And I'm actually just gonna put a little tiny amount on because I already did put on some earlier, so I'm just kind of re-upping it. And I'm gonna give this a nice blend. And I find that eyeshadow primer is essential, no matter what palette you're using. It always makes the performance of the shadows a lot better, and it helps blending a lot. So if you've never tried it before, highly recommend giving it a try. So for my first brush, I'm just gonna go in with a small angled brush, and I'm doing something differently now. I'm having every single brush that I'm using linked down in the description box below. So if you're curious, it'll be linked down below, and for what I used it for if you're interested in any of them. So with this brush, I'm gonna go into a shade called First, and what we're gonna do with this shade is we're gonna apply this to the entire top of the lid, all the way up to the brow. So you wanna start pretty much where your crease line is and get that entire upper lid area. The reason why we're putting the shade on is because we're gonna add a lot of shadow on top of this, and it helps the blend look a lot more seamless. So once you get that on there, take a big fluffy blending brush and just give that a good buff. The next brush I'm heading into is an oh so popular small detail brush, and I'm going into the purple shade called Trust. And today we're going to be using a new technique that I just learned really recently actually, and I wanted to share it with you because I thought it was so cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the lower lash line and kind of work on building our outer corner first. So I'm just filling in this outer portion of the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna bring it up like we're doing a wing. I'm gonna stop right about there. Now, the reason why I like this technique so much is because you have your border right there. When we do the other top shadows, you know exactly where you need to stop. I think it's really helpful and beneficial to the rest of the look. So again, with that same brush, I'm gonna still keep going in with that shade, and I'm gonna blend upwards, but I'm gonna make it really dark by this line. You see how I'm blending toward the inside of my eye? I'm bringing the brush toward the inside. Now, I'll get to this later when I do the review portion, but I did experience some patchiness with this shade that I'm using right now, so be careful with that. And if you do experience some patching, just kind of keep going over it until you get it a little bit blended out. All right, so once you get your corner shade on there, when you have your little line formed right here, just wipe your brush off and take that clean brush and start swiping that purple shade towards your bare eye. Once you get that as blended as you can, take that same brush and go into the red shade called Heart. Now we're gonna start working on the middle section of this gradient. And I like to start where I want the red to end. So I'm gonna probably end it right about here. So I'm gonna start forming my top line. And I'm gonna bring it into the purple. And now we really want the middle section of this red to be pigmented, like wholly pigmented. So I'm gonna add some more red onto my brush and find the middle of my line and make a straight line down so I know where I'm going here. So that's my line of pigment. So what I'm gonna do is take my brush, after I add some more shadow of course, and really focus on this line and heavily pack shadow on it. I don't want to see any creases. I don't want to see any bare spots through the line. I just want to make sure that it's just purely the shadow. So once I get that packed on there, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the purple. I'm going to take that red and I'm going to sweep it toward the purple. I'm gonna take that same detail brush from earlier and I'm gonna go in with the bright silver shade and I'm just gonna apply this to the cut crease area. Then I'm gonna take a really fluffy brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Passion and I'm gonna use this to blend out the cut crease edge. So I'm just gonna pat it and gently swipe it and kind of camouflage this edge. So now for the waterline, I'm gonna take a bright pink liner. For the lower lash line, I'm taking that same angled brush and we're gonna create the same pink, red, purple gradient on the lower lash line. I'm sorry if you think I'm moving quickly, but I am. My camera keeps telling me storage is full, so I'm trying to finish this before it completely cuts me off and I'm not able to film anymore. I gotta figure something out because this is getting ridiculous. Now for the inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Lifetime and I'm just going to gently pat that into my inner corner because I don't really want a bold inner corner. And then I'm gonna clean up all this fallout and I'll put on some mascara and I will be back to show you the final look. So here's the finished look. It's kind of weird seeing myself in a look such as this. I'm not used to wearing these kind of colors, so it's like when I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow. I really do like it though, and I think it's really fun and I really enjoyed trying that new technique today. I'm really excited about this palette. I'm gonna have a lot more things to do with it. So if you have this palette, let me know what your favorite look to do is because I am looking for some inspiration. And also be sure to let me know what you think about this look and what you think about this palette in general. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But as for right now, let's move right on into the review. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this video, which is the review of this palette. And again, this is the Natasha Denona Love palette. So the first thing I always like to talk about is the packaging of the palette. And of course, in this case, it is a plastic casing packaging, which not only is luxurious, but it really does offer some great protection for the eyeshadows inside. And as you notice on the back, there's some little holes right here. And what this does is it gives you access to poking out the eyeshadows so you can rearrange them and to kind of create your own color stories within. So when you open it up, you do get a really nice large mirror inside. And then here's that color story for you. You get 15 different eyeshadows in here, and yes, they are eyeshadows. There are no pressed pigments in here. And each one weighs in at 1.28 grams, and that's above the average amount of eyeshadow per pan. And within this layout, you get 3 different formulas. You get 8 matte shadows, you get 4 shimmers, and you get 3 metallics. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about each formula. So the first one is the mattes. I thought the mattes were great. There are 2 different types of mattes in here. You got the normal matte shadows that we always see, and then there are also the cream to powder formulation. Now, in my opinion, the cream to powder formulation just feels a little bit different, but I've had the same experience applying it than a normal matte shadow. I found that every matte blended extremely well, and as you can see on my eye, it was very easy to create a gradient with it, and they layered very well. I do want to point out that the mattes do apply darker on your eye than they appear in the pan, and that's the case for most Natasha Denona eyeshadows. And also, this is a more directly pigmented formula in lieu of being buildable. So as soon as you apply the shadow to your eye, you're gonna get direct pigment. and that can make it a little bit more difficult to manage and control this formula. But I think if you know that going into it, you'll be much better prepared for it. But I was pleasantly surprised with these mattes because in the past they've been pretty hit or miss for me, but every one that I've tried in here has been phenomenal. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the shimmers. Now, there are 4 shimmers in here, and each one was very chunky and quite thick in its texture. There are also 2 different duochrome shadows that are included within the range of the shimmers. I found that the shimmers were easy to apply and they were highly reflective, just like the metallics. And I did try every method of application with the shimmer, so I did try my finger, a dry brush, and a dampen brush, and I didn't find any significant difference between method of application. So you could use any way and you'll still get the same outcome. So let's move into the metallics. There are 3 different metallics in here, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference between what's a shimmer and what's a metallic in this palette, but if you swatch them out, you can see it. And if you look at them, the metallics are very smooth and have a thinner texture, and the shimmers are, like I said, more chunky and thicker. And I do want to point out that there is absolutely no glitter chunks in any of the metallics. Each metallic has a very intense base pigment, so it's a multifunctional shade, and it will give you that pop that you're looking for in your eyelid. I also did try every method of application with the metallic formula as well. And like I said, I tried it with my finger, a dry brush, and a dampened brush. And much like the shimmers, there was no obvious difference between any of them. So you're safe to use any way and still get the same outcome. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and pop up a picture of some swatches that I took from this palette so you can see how every shade looks swatched out. Okay guys, we're gonna get into our routine data check, and there's 4 points that I would like to make about this palette. The first being, this is not clarified as being a clean formula. The second is that this is cruelty-free. The third is this is not vegan. And the fourth is that it has a 24-month expiration date, and that's located on the back of the palette. And now we're gonna get into my favorite part of the video, which is the cost evaluation. So if you went out and bought this palette today, it would cost you $65. And breaking that down a little bit comes to $4.33 per shade. And breaking that down a little bit further, it comes to $3.38 per gram. So comparing this palette to similar products offered on the market, the price per shade is just kind of meh, not that great, you know, but it's not totally awful either. And additionally, this palette has a higher cost per gram than other palettes that are similar to this that I've previously reviewed. So now I'm gonna tell you a few facts about this palette that were interesting. And the first one is that this is a limited edition palette. And like I said, this is a Valentine's Day palette, so I don't remember when this came out, but it was sometime around some Valentine's Day. And it's still currently available, but it is limited edition, so it can go away at any time. And the second thing is that this has exclusive shades in it. So the shades that you see in here have never been done before, and we may never see them again. So I just thought that was really cool information. All right guys, we're gonna get into the most opinionated part of this video, which is my recommendation. So I wore this palette for 6 hours and I didn't get any creasing with the shadows that I used. I did get some patchiness using the purple shade that we used on the outer corner, just a little bit of patching, but it wasn't horrible. And I didn't get any staining from any of the shades. And throughout my exploration with this palette, I did encounter a dud shade, and it's this one right here called Dream. It's technically a metallic shade, but it's just awful. It's not on par with any of the other metallic shades in the palette. It lacks complete movement, it lacks any shine, and it's totally impossible to work with. Even swatching it, I had to swatch it about 50 times just to get it to show up. But in my opinion, if you come across this at a really good price like I did, I would say pick it up. And there are 3 reasons why I recommend it. The first reason is because it's super easy to blend out. It basically does the work for you. The second reason is that all the colors work well together. There's no guesswork in this. You can just pair anything together and it looks beautiful. And my third reason is that you get exposed to a very luxurious formula at a lower cost. And even if you pay full price for this, you're still getting it at a fraction of the price than a normal Natasha Denona palette. But I still recommend looking for this on sale. So guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, just hit that thumbs down button. And until next time, bye.